All right, guys. Before we fully come back, first off, there appears to be some copy pasta going on in the chat. I don't. I don't. I've been in
It's a
love with
weird one, man.
Rifkin since I was a young boy. No, you should read this. You should read this.
Nope. No, it's way weird. You kidding me?
I've been in love with Rifkin since I was a young boy. He showed me his poker tracker, and the police asked me to be honest, but I had to lie. I told them it was just a couple of diglets, and no one was harmed. Anyway, thanks for the 30 years of my life.
Off my life or
Off my life. Sorry, excuse me. I don't. It
When's a
was
good
the
thing?
Danny's a sub message, basically. I don't know what that's about. Hang on, no, we can't go just yet. I
Oh, my
promised
bad.
everyone I would show the Waldo.
Oh.
Plus, by the way, this is like the fastest cast. We're not even getting close to like 3 hours at the cast at this rate. I'm just saying. But anyways, thank you Nathanius for the 30-month really weird resub. It's greatly appreciated. Dog1 is open. Gave us a resub as well. We got Lieutenant Pilot for the 9-month resub. BaseTradeTV stream baby. And then Huluvu SC resub for 34 months to say, love your work. Keep it up. I thank you kindly for those nice words. But you guys want the big reveal of the Where's Waldo solution. So, as I had mentioned, a couple of people, this is where I give credit to Twitch chat. Normally we roll our eyes, right? We're like, fuck it, Twitch chat. But credit goes where it's due. Twitch chat is smart as hell. And some people took the time to screen capture this, reverse Google search it, and realize that Waldo was originally right here before I photoshopped him out.
Freaking gotcha.
And my hope was nobody would have figured this out before the stream was done, because I would have actually had a giveaway, because the plan was to put the real Waldo back in like the last time we were going to show that off, right? Like in the last instance of last chance to find this out, guys, if nobody got it right. But some of you are just way too smart. So unfortunately now I'll have to think of a better way to give away this super special prize for another day. We are ready to go though, so let's hop into the game. And it's uThermal versus ShoWTimE, brand new series, TvP,
Yep.
best of 3.
You know, I'm glad there's a couple of smart people, you know, that really like thought through it. You know, first of all, they figured out that it wasn't there, and then second of all, they were smart enough that even if Waldo was there, they reversed image search. Like that's actually
That's
something I would not have
ingenious.
thought of. Yeah, that was genius. But I'm also severely disappointed in the amount of people that I'm not sure were joking when they started circling the things that obviously were Waldo.
I know some people actually. I loved. There's some misconstrued things where they were circling things that looked like Waldo that weren't Waldo. Maybe they didn't know how Where's Waldo works, right? But some people started circling things like the chariots and like the Roman guards. I'm like, well, you know, he could have dressed up, I guess, in armor. I can't prove you wrong.
I'm just like, what were they hoping? They just wouldn't like care, just be like, oh, they circled something.
I'll just pick
Nailed it.
the thing at random because I don't care. There's no passion. All right, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Game number 1 of the winner's match. The winner of this best of 3 is going to walk away today $250 richer. In the bottom left side of the map, it's going to be the blue Terran player, Liquid Thermi, aka Liquid uThermal.
I don't think you have to AKA that one. In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, he is ShoWTimE.
By the way, going back on that Nathanius copy pasta for a moment. Holy crap. That stupid Rick and Morty thing he did blew up like crazy for him, right? And the shitpost I made to go with it apparently had... I was looking at the Twitter stats like yesterday morning. I don't even know what it is now. It had like 6,000 views on it. My highest viewed video on Twitter up to that point was like 300 for context. It was like 6,000 people had watched that tweet. But I guess he ended up on the top of not only our StarCraft, but our live streamer fail. So his clip, if you guys go look on Twitch, that clip of him has like over 25,000 views on it. It's insane.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You didn't see this? This Rick and
Nope.
Morty meme thing?
Nope.
As someone who actually just recently watched Rick and Morty, I thought you would have liked it too. You should definitely go look it up afterwards. We just had a brand new resub, or not resub, brand new sub, excuse me. CR Bay, or was it Cray Bay? I don't know how you want to pronounce that, friend, but thank you very much to CR Bay 2 for the new sub hype, as well as all WWW for the 3 months. And of course, as he resubs, he types in WWWWWWW. And Sawmonk as well. Man, we're getting tons of action here, as this game might not be the most proactive at the start.
Oh man, his name is actually kind of like a Pokemon.
What-
Sawmonk.
I guess to a degree, yeah.
I guess any word can be made into like a Pokemon thing if you like really try. Just like, you know, pick kind of like a an animal type of sound, I suppose. Because I'm kind of going like Ekans with that, right? And then just like say it in a certain manner, and it'll probably sound childish enough to be a Pokemon.
Did you know that Ekans backwards is uThermal?
Oh, no way. I'm gonna try to do it with your name. Hold on, like Rifkin.
Oh, I think it's over my real name, because my real name is really dumb. It's Marg.
No, not turn your name backwards. I meant make it into a Pokemon name. Which I guess includes making it backwards.
Actually, backwards almost, because it'd be like, what?
Rifkin?
Nickfear, right?
Rifkin.
Nickfear.
Nickfear. Yeah, yeah. What would you rather have? Would you have like the...
Goddamn Nickfers!
Oh, Jesus. Would you rather have like the Ekans, like the snake, or like maybe like one of the fighting Pokemon that just kind of like yells it abruptly? Or maybe like Squirtle.
Squirtle!
You want the Squirtle?
Because I'd be part of the
like,
Squirtle Squad.
These guys are the coolest. It's like the only Pokemon my mom knows, and the only Pokemon episode my mom
can you
knows.
actually, big favor to ask real quick, Zombie Grub, could you talk about the game?
No, I want to talk about football.
Hey, I want to talk about these 1,000 bits we just got cheered out of Dove and Wolves, as I love to watch these two. Thanks for the support of our ridiculousness as time goes on.
Dang.
We do actually have some interesting things shining up, though, and as much as I do want to continue being silly, we got Blink being researched pretty quick out of ShoWTimE. Now, I think everyone and our mothers have seen enough TvPs that it's, hey, adepts, more adepts, and let's get some resonating glaives going. ShoWTimE, to do this without already investing in stalkers, I actually find a little bit weird.
It is generally whatever you start off with, you're kind of going to invest more into, but it's not always the case, you know? Like, unless you go past 3 or 4 adepts, then maybe it gets questionable, but the point is, I'm not surprised to see him go Blink. I think ShoWTimE actually likes Blink more than Resonating Glaives, from what I've seen recently. I also think that Blink just, like, and not, you know, to knock people who use adepts and just be like, lol, adept's so easy, right? But I do like the skill that is showcased with Blink Stalkers. You know, not just the all-in version, but also any all-ins or attacks they do with it. But just, like, it gives you such cool map control, I guess the best way to put it. So I'm favorable to, like, just, like, in watching PvT when they go Blink.
By the way, this might be part of it. I kind of forgotten uThermal is so regularly, so consistently doing the Widowmine drop that comes later with 3 of them, and it always goes towards the main. If this is something ShoWTimE knew was coming, yeah, maybe Adepts could have killed the Widowmines, but Stalkers push off the medevac. Blink to help catch that further, maybe that's the idea here, and it's not actually for some grand scheme, like it is just for the opening. I don't know, but yeah. Keeps the Widowmines out. Meanwhile, attacking the natural, not too scary. Shells away a couple of shields, but ultimately picked up.
Mm-hmm. The other option, if you want to deal with like air, is of course if you could open up Stargate and go into Phoenixes. I feel like that's. It sounds like it should be the easier solution, and oftentimes is not, because if you don't catch the medevac immediately and they unload all the Marines with stim, those Phoenixes really don't last very long, where it feels like Stalkers are a little... No, they can take a few more shots. But it's also, of course, going to pair up with Colossus very well. You're going to go Blink Stalker Colossus, even if you eventually add on Adepts. Whereas Phoenix Colossus, while still can technically be done, is just like... It's just not as done as much. It's not as solid of a game plan, in my opinion. It's more like a surprise game plan if you're like Myungsick and still playing StarCraft 2. Where Blink Stalker Colossus is very, very old-timey, very classic part of the matchup. And to note, ShoWTimE is going Colossus, so he's going kind of like the slower third. This actually was a really well-timed third, so not even like that much slower than if you went like mass gateways. But the slower build-up of a scarier army than just mass gateway units.
Well,
maybe Accidental Reaper. I'm pretty sure that's accident.
I don't know. Well, that grenade might just send the Colossus flying. You never know. No one's ever tried.
Does it?
I don't know. We're going to find out.
Oh, my God.
Thank you, by the way, to Good Riddance with a 3 for the new sub hype. Glad to have you on board, friend. Remar, by the way, also linked the clip in chat mentioned earlier, so I guess you want to check that out in your own time. We do have, though, this medevac that has been just chilling. Like, the patience out of uThermal. He really wants to send this in and drop those Widowmines at some point. Those could be positioned literally anywhere else on the map.
Oh, that was suspicious.
That was awkward. Anyways, those could be in the middle of the map right now. They could be dropping the third maybe, but the Stalkers are drawn out of position, albeit briefly, and then medevac moves over. It's like a slow game of chess with this medevac.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of scary, you know? This is... Okay, maybe it's technically better than just losing the medevac, but it's still not having it with your main army. And when the Protoss gets up to 2 or 3 Colossus, sometimes you just kind of start controlling the space around your around the Terran's base, because when they have 2 or 3 Colossus, it's very unlikely for the Terran to have already started on Vikings. So the best they hope for is a good concave, or tanks, I guess, are pretty good too. And uThermal does have 2 of those, but the Vikings are just too expensive to invest into super early on. And it looks like uThermal's not even going to go Vikings. He is adding on a fusion core pretty quickly. So Liberators definitely first, maybe Vikings later.
I mean, if on a technical scale, right? Like, if you have enough Liberators, Vikings unnecessary, but I think that's
Yeah.
an expensive goal that you're wishing for. Now, again, that medevac drop with these Widow Mines, still very scary, still very deadly, but there's cannons in each mineral line to make sure these won't get too much done. I suppose with 3, though, you're guaranteed to get at least 1 shot. Maybe that'll be a great shot. Maybe it won't be, but the point is, we're far past the point where 3 or 4 probe kills is that scary. Early on, it's fantastic, and that's part of the timing. Oh, is he going to focus the Colossus? No, he's going to back away from it.
Even 12 probe kills, even like an entire mineral line, which that medevac did a decent job there, still isn't really enough, I think, to really phase ShoWTimE. The only concern for ShoWTimE right now is either losing like 3 mineral lines worth of probes, right, like something truly devastating, or being so distracted he doesn't see the push come into the middle. But he split his army pretty well. He's not in danger of just like moving one place to one place, and uThermal is still waiting on Liberators to push. Even if he even does push, he might just be entirely okay with them going to 4 bases and forcing ShoWTimE to be the aggressor to actually control the game so that he can pounce on any mistake he makes.
So you guys admitted the wrong thing there for a moment as I had to get that cough out. Does stim into the 3rd, not going to get a whole hell of a lot, but tips a couple of probes and then backs away. Still has units positioned up here to the north, but for uThermal, I don't feel like this is quite like the game we saw versus a laser where your little pressure follows up with a big tank push that wins you the game or anything like that. Protoss is a lot harder to fight against, and these little trades are not getting him anywhere so far. Not to say this is a bad thing, but it's certainly just not a good thing.
Yeah. It really is poking and prodding, and they're both doing their macro thing behind it. So it's like, it's kind of just something to talk about, but I wouldn't even say it's really truly concerning. ShoWTimE is doing something that's pretty smart, though, in my opinion. Like, one of the biggest, just fears in general for Protoss is a mass amount of Liberators. So that's sometimes what Terrans even rely on if they don't feel confident in the matchup otherwise. But if you can get the Tempests, if they just let you get the Tempests, or sometimes Void Rays, some people were like really experimenting with Void Rays because of the speed buff, I suppose, then you actually won't have that much of a problem with them.
I'm a big fan of Void Rays when it comes to taking down the Liberators quickly, but they did give Tempest a lot of their anti-ground range back. So I think it's back to 10 now, just to those who aren't aware. So the matchup, again, it's had its ups and downs and changes, but unfortunately, we're not really seeing anything that requires too much discussion regarding balance. I guess with the Tempest coming out, that is, again, just reminding, this thing in the big patch had its air-to-air range left untouched, but its air-to-ground range was neutered heavily. Now it's back up to where it was before, I think, or at least at 10, unless it was 13 before as well, I don't remember, but point is, it's got some range back to it.
Now, uThermal is pushing just before the Tempests are ready, so this is pretty well timed. He's also maxed out with 2-2, so everything just is working out really nice for him. And this is a very good position for positional units to abuse. Not even necessarily Terran, but just anything that has that range. Yeah. uThermal's also going to go into that 4th base, and ShoWTimE did collect his army together. And is doing an okay amount of damage. It's distracting ShoWTimE a little bit. So he doesn't move his army out of Liberator range.
Draw some of it in, got a little bit scary. The Tempest comes forward, but one Tempest is not going to be enough to stop this army. Dropping the natural base, also distracting. That's where the Warpins go. ShoWTimE should be able to hold this without overcharge. Couple Marauders step forward. Everyone's on hold position, and no one's ready to dance.
Yeah. Well, ShoWTimE definitely just wants to wait for those Tempests. It is by far the smarter option. Even if it lost him his 3rd base, I think it'd be better than losing, the army and then your 3rd base, So Tempests are out. They don't kill Liberators super quickly, so uThermal can still try and push with this. But as more Tempests come out, obviously, then he's going to run out of time. But he's been managing to get some damage done elsewhere, so that natural did 9 probes with the damage. Once again, trying to tag that 4th base. Not going to work out, though. ShoWTimE's this time really prepared.
So ShoWTimE's doing a great job responding to uThermal on this, but he's still bleeding out slowly. That base is going to go down. There's a lot of Widow Mines set up for a transfer that comes through, and I don't know. I'm wondering if Vikings might be they're less of a necessity or more of a necessity because of the fact that there's Tempests out.
Well, I definitely think if it is going to be a maxed out army with Tempest, I think that Vikings have to be made. Although it seems like uThermal might even be like
Also,
trying to go Widow against them.
That's my thought on this, though, where maybe you don't need the Viking. Like, if your plan is that, okay, you would waste a lot of shots on the Tempest, so you wouldn't get to shoot the Colossus, Vikings would be no good. Whereas Tempest attacks so slow, they're not that big of a threat, so your Liberties could technically just fly and siege up and they'd die, but they'd kill more than they would die for, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand the dynamic you're explaining, basically, but it is one of those things where, like, it is a dynamic that has to work, I think, more in a nuanced manner, I guess the best way to put it, than Vikings. Sometimes they just like, lol, I shift-click my Vikings.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And they kill things. So, I don't know, but like I said, ShoWTimE losing the third base isn't really devastating unless he also lost his army for it, because he's maxed out. You know, banking another 400 minerals maybe isn't too bad,
Snipe
but
another Nexus.
losing 2 bases, that might be too much.
Oh, the Nexus go down. He's also got a retreat path, too. If the Adepts chase into it, this Widowmine's
yeah.
waiting. This Liberty is set up, and that goes pretty badly for ShoWTimE. Middle of the map, though, looks to be his control. He's going to burrow these Widowmines. They don't have Drilling Claws, so it takes them a little bit to get underground. But lots of detection is certainly available.
And that's why I didn't think drilling claws are really going to be any type of answer without those drilling claws. They really would have just been like, don't shade into me, man. So ShoWTimE, I mean, definitely feeling a little fed up because losing 2 bases, but also just finding opportunity to push. I mean, he's got to realize he's killed a couple of Liberators, you know, on almost retreat. He's killed a lot of Marauders that have been trying to snag these bases. He might just straight up have an army supply, and we know he straight up does. Almost 50 army supply lead here. And uThermal is just realizing now, like, maybe Vikings are the way to go, but despite having 3 starports, he's not even using one.
Well, I think
and he's going to be starting from 0.
It goes without saying that Marines are going to be the best thing. Like, when you're fighting Tempest, you want Marines above all else, but you can't use the Marines because of those Colossus, so it's a pretty tough situation to be in. The Planetary Fortress going to get a couple of shots. I do want to note, uThermal's got about 3 or so ghosts with his army. 5 even, excuse me. That clumped up army, the ShoWTimE, I'm just waiting for those EMPs to come down.
Yeah, those Adepts might just be killed very quickly after the EMPs,
they'll lift
but
up. Ooh.
the Stalker Colossus Tempest army might not be. Now, uThermal's finishing up his 3-3, but so is ShoWTimE. This will be a pretty interesting clash, but the point is ShoWTime's just always been up 30-40 army supply, and that's definitely the most worrying part here. Base trade? Base trade. Do you think uThermal's just recognized this is his only shot?
Baby, Ace 1, Ace 2 in chat if you got it, guys. We don't see this happen too often, but this is going to go pretty nuts. I think the rules still apply, though. You don't try and fully base trade a Terran for a lot of reasons. You know, just the floating buildings and the fact that they can kill things pretty quick with Stim. But uThermal's army has a lot of investment in Widowmines and these Liberators and Vikings, even things that aren't going to kill buildings so quickly. So this might be one of the times the Protoss wins the base trade, all things considered. Ship Weapon's going to finish up at 13 seconds. We'll see if those even have a chance to finish. uThermal's already lifted up his command, so he's trying to float that away. Meanwhile, pushes into the natural. There's no overcharges. There's no pushback. Both players running for their lives in one way or another. Probes to the north. Barracks getting slapped down. Will they see each other? They will.
They will, yeah. Just definitely take a couple probes. I do think that ShoWTimE, you know, just going with the base trade is probably the better move. Had he tried to retreat and take care of things, he would have still lost the 3rd base, might have lost the 4th,
so
would still have some of his production taken care of, and uThermal would have been able to get enough Vikings maybe to scare him, whereas now, of course, it's not going to happen.
I actually think ShoWTime's going to win this game, and I base this primarily off the fact that I think Tempests are going to slowly whittle away at uThermal. Like, uThermal could root himself down in the corner of the map, set up Liberty, set up Widowmines, and draw a line in the sand, but I think eventually the Tempests slowly but surely chip him away, and that's what kills him. So, I mean, he's trying to get down these barracks. I think he knows at this point getting Marines out to any variety is going to be what kills those Tempests. You remove the Tempest from the equation, and suddenly uThermal's got the upper hand. But that doesn't seem to be the case just yet. There's nothing really remaining for ShoWTimE. He's got a Nexus in the top left, and I guess this might come down to a game of buildings to some degree.
Yeah, so I definitely have faith in uThermal winning via building, you know, kills, but that would require some really good medevac footwork and scans going down and a lot of scouting, basically. But I just don't think it will come down to the last building being killed, like uThermal would probably want.
Yeah, this is huge. uThermal actually finds the Nexus, and I think in a lot of these cases, you're running question marks all over the place. Like, where is that final building? Because you're busy searching for it, you end up losing too much. He knows where the Nexus is. It's the only thing standing. He has no way of knowing that for sure.
Oh, he's not many medevacs.
Oh no, he's only got like the one he can kind of ship around.
I think we both just assumed he had more medevacs to pick up his units, but if there's no medevacs, there's actually no game. He has no reason to pick up all the other buildings.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to focus on a medevac too quickly, but all these depots and the command center dropping supply, uThermal's still in it to win it. He hasn't given up yet. You know what, Zombio? Okay, if it weren't for this one, there's a considerable amount of Marauders heading that direction. Ghosts, of course, can't really do too much here. EMPs will land, but they're not exactly able to snipe or nuke. Nuke would be fantastic.
A nuke would be good for buying time. Great if it actually hit.
It feels bad, man. Ghost get picked off. I think he thought this would be the only base. He kills several of the probes, but there's one in the middle. He's got no way to scout this just yet either, which is really unfortunate. I mean, ShoWTimE is struggling, but so is uThermal. Oh man, what? How do you even get yourself in this spot, man? This is like one of those movie things. Like you show this part, it's like freeze frame. You're probably wondering how he ended up in a situation like this. Well, let me tell you. And then like 10 weeks earlier.
Well,
oh, did he find it?
I mean, ShoWTimE.
Oh,
ShoWTimE would make a huge mistake here.
This is the last building.
Well, yeah, he'd make a huge mistake if he didn't just build a Nexus right now, another Nexus, and an assimilator. Like that would totally be on ShoWTimE for losing this game.
Oh, he's gonna do it.
There we go. Yeah. Okay, now he's gonna protect his base too.
uThermal's actually got supply recovery. I guess we'll say potential here.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
He's got money, but he's got no buildings, no production. He can't really build anything in time. I feel. This is so awkward. ShoWTimE, of course, doesn't even realize that uThermal has built up his base again because he had killed so much of this, and I think he assumed he killed the command centers. So it doesn't look like uThermal had floated those two away to safety, but we know that he did. This one medevac, if it was 4 Marauders, maybe that's a question worth bringing up, but there's not 4 Marauders. ShoWTimE can't build any probes. He can't get any mining going. He has no supply to work with.
Tempest should win the game, if nothing else.
Yeah, I really think they will. This came down to a really damn close game, but ultimately it's going to go in the favor of ShoWTimE.
I mean, it's certainly closer than I think if uThermal had just taken that attack that, he decided not to go for at the start of the base trade, but still. GG.
Well, longest game of all of the series today, and it's not a 2-0. That's fantastic. We are going to have a second map. Gonna do a little bit of advertisement though, and a small commercial break before we hop into game number 2. So number 1, guys, we do have a giveaway. !Yord in chat. If you type it, we'll take you to the giveaway for Yord. If you enter into the giveaway, there's 3 people who will win $100 watch codes, which you can use on any watch on the website, any purchase that you want. All you gotta do is check out the website for 5 entries to win, and of course you can enter in a couple more times by following us on Twitter, subbing to our YouTube, and all that good stuff. But we also have a BaseTradeTV giveaway, which is the more important part of this. The BaseTradeTV giveaway will be going up until the 24th. 3 people from there will be able to win any code of, or pick their prize of any of the ones listed on that page, and we'll have more prizes added over time. But we're gonna go to a small commercial break, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys in 2 minutes with game number 2. All right, folks, we're back, and we're just waiting for uThermal to ready up, so you guys aren't missing anything. I guess a breather needed towards the end of that game, but he's finally here and says go, go, go. So that worked out very nicely for our commercials there. But yeah, this was a pretty tough game 1 for him. Not an easy loss, I'd say. Not in a frustrating situation like that, but Tempest turned out to be a pretty good choice out of ShoWTimE towards that game.
Yeah. The Tempests were good, for multiple reasons, but the real kicker for the base trade as well.
Yeah. Well, it's game number 2. Once again, we're in the winner's match, guys. There's $250 for the winner of this best of 3, and the loser will fight against a laser. Hopefully, it's not going to be a 2-0, though. I'm really looking for that ace match, and I want him to bring it back. Spot it to the north. Send him your energy. It's going to be the blue Terran player, uThermal.
In the bottom position, as the Red Protoss, he is ShoWTimE.
Now, of course, while we've been advertising the watches, guys, over on woodwatches.com/base, we do have a separate giveaway going. And, of course, !giveaway in chat will take you to that one. You can have your choice of right now, the prizes are a $200 Yord Woodwatch code, a pairing of the Kerrigan and Raynor Pop Vinyl figurines, or a Corsair Void wireless headset. Again, we'll pick 3 winners, and each can pick their choice. First come, first serve, that sort of deal. Hopefully you guys will enter into that. That'll be running up until the 24th, So you have a chance, quite a few chances to get into that one. Won't advertise that one too heavily. But the Yord one for today, the $100 watch codes. That's only going to be for today, guys. The winner will be drawn tomorrow, I think either before or after the Corsair Cup. I don't remember where I put the time as the end stop on that one. But on top of all these other cool things, I want to remind everybody that you can get custom engravings on your watches now. Laser engravings. The future is now. So whether you want to put your name, your father's name, your girlfriend, boyfriend's name, whoever you're getting the gift for, you can also put memes. I think that's what matters the most. In fact, I would love to get a watch and I would just engrave the word memes onto it personally, but
He's so cool.
I know.
You know, it'd be the longest like explanation of a joke because first you have to take off the watch, to explain how cool it is.
Well, no, you know why? I got this. It would be really meaningful.
No, JJ. And that's when you have to explain the whole joke. Anyway, ShoWTimE is a very interesting position to go for that Stargate. I like this position. It's different than every other common position for a Stargate, which is to say off to the right side and off to the left side.
And I don't believe it's going to get seen. It's far outside the range of the watchtower. The Reaper's not even going to touch the watchtower. Oh, God. The SCV getting to the main. As it ducks into the natural, it's going to see nothing down. This is going to raise a lot of red flags. And I think uThermal is just going to keep his first Widow Mine at home. Oh, wait, he didn't go for Factor, he went for Faster Barracks.
This might still be okay, especially because he did get the Scout. So I think the Widow Mine has more, like, you know, potential when you don't even scout it and you're just like, oh shit, like, I need a Widow Mine really quickly. But if you scout it and have a barracks and you build a bunker, I don't think it's that much of a problem either. And the Reaper can do some damage, but it's actually going to come back home. Oh, no, there it is. I was like, where'd it go? Yeah, so it actually has a potential to either do damage or keep the Adepts back at home.
Actually,
so the Mothership doesn't have a buddy with it, basically.
This should do significant damage because the Adept's not at home. Because the Mothership Core's not here. Like, the Adept comes home.
That sucks.
It gets dealt with, but that's quite a bit of damage done. SCV's going to try and repair this, but the SCVs will get sniped off if that's going to be the case. It won't feel worth it. He can keep the reactor alive. He can keep the second depot alive, but... Oh, here comes that... Turret's not done yet.
Yeah, he does pull the SCVs away, but there's not enough Marines? No, there should be. There's 5, but it was already a little bit damaged.
Yeah, it's almost out of juice, too. This gets a little bit nasty, but reminding everybody, uThermal's got a natural base over ShoWTimE in this instance, so he's hardly out of the game, even though the damage looks kind of nasty. You know, a couple of SCVs dying, but the bunker didn't even go down. He salvages it after cleaning up the pylon. That Oracle, okay, that's going to be alive for a little bit longer. There's going to be more to pair up with it. But really, he should, with the turret down here, a possible second turret in his natural, or even just a Widow Mine, I don't think uThermal's in that much trouble.
Yeah, I would say that was even a unsuccessful attack from ShoWTimE, because he only, you know, they traded for the workers, 3 more went down for uThermal. It's really not that's not bad at all.
Well, it's, you know, what's great about this too is, like, this was a blind defense out of uThermal. Like, he technically wasn't ready for it. He wasn't blindly going for a fast Widow Mine to put in the mineral lines. He held on with what he had. What he had was barely enough. A little bit spooky too. Oracles are a lot of damage. This is going to kill the mules, which really sucks for him.
Yeah, that's definitely the worst part. I guess I'll save 1 mule and we'll lose, like, a trip, I suppose, which is, you know, something. But point is, I would still say uThermal's doing fine. And
he doesn't want to cancel that, but that might be a mistake.
I think we can finish it.
Yeah, I guess it's so low that I think the Oracle's going to focus it. Turret's going to force a recall on the Mothership Core, but she's not going to recall. She's going to go down.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's huge, actually, because now there's nothing at home to defend if uThermal manages to sneak out any sort of assault. We have a Phoenix on the way that would help compensate for this. This will be able to maybe catch a medevac in the middle of the map. Maybe, like asterisk.
Yeah. That's still only 11 SCVs total with a mule. Mule and a half, I guess, because the mule had to leave. Yeah, I'd still say that uThermal's in a pretty good position because it is about what happens when he has stim and medevacs. So, okay, his medevacs were a little bit delayed because he couldn't get, like, the fastest factory in Starport like he would have wanted. But his stim started early enough. You know, that's just about time, which wasn't that expensive an upgrade overall. And once he can push with hopefully a good number of Marines, and I guess that's kind of the unspoken damage. Yeah, that... well, keeping one, I guess. Keeping one alive.
The turret was there too, though. Like, that's not like, oh, I didn't see the turret. Like,
so this is what I was like thinking of as, you know, the unspoken damage is definitely the army that he's killed. So you look at the resources lost, and technically ShoWTimE's winning that one. So it's going to be like a question of how much of a big army does uThermal get when he does have these super important upgrade, you know, stim and the super important units, medevacs, against what does ShoWTimE have, you know, which won't be a lot of units, but maybe just key units.
I really love the idea of the Phoenix policing the medevac paths. He knows that there would be a very high chance a follow-up drop is some way to get damage back in, or even a liberator. But while we're talking about the resources lost, I brought up the resources, or the income graph for a moment there, and this was actually surprisingly steady even through the initial damage. It wasn't until all the SCVs got pulled to that bunker we saw like a big dip, and even then, like, uThermal still recovers. So I think you're right. Like, this is a bit deceptive of the way the game's gone. And we'll see. I don't know. Do you think this is like something crazy, like a fast disruptor drop, or do you think it's just straight up for Colossus?
I think he actually still is going to straight up for a Colossus. Like, he's going to play a slower game. A, because he seemed to like that style as it's coming to play, and also B, just like that would be the safest way to play. You could try and take a fast third in between all this harassment, and then just like, you know, hope to probe really hard and get like a ton of gateways literally right now and time it out so precisely you barely hold on. Or you can stay on 2 bases, not die to a couple of drops, because you know uThermal's going to do that, and get some pretty, like, you know, good units like Colossus. They won't have much gateway army to buddy up with, and that is the scariest part. But uThermal, very clearly to ShoWTimE, has been going for nothing but Marines. He's killed so many of them after all with the Oracle. So 1 Colossus is actually going to be pretty good, even if they're in a concave.
Well, the Oracle on the right side is not going to do much other than scout. The 2 medevacs going straight down the middle. They will be intercepted by the Phoenix. They could actually take on the Phoenix if they unload the Marines. Unload that cargo.
Yeah. Noticed a little bit late. But he still dealt with the drop, which is pretty important.
So this is a bit of a dark thing to say out of chat, but Adam Bong says, my favorite genre of humor is people falling off their bikes, basically. Oh, you'd love me then, man. Spent good 3 months of this year recovering from falling off my bike and breaking both my arms.
I was going to say, so that meme that you always post about me. Fucking
Yeah,
Rifkin.
that one too. Thanks a lot, Zavagrom. I appreciate your support, etc. Alright, this is actually doing a great job of helping deal with the medevac drops. Like I said, like, this was such a smart choice out of ShoWTimE to use his Stargate before it was going to go down. He knew drops would be in a response. It wouldn't be a walk across the middle of the map, and he's been able to stop all that damage. So, well, he should have been behind pretty badly economically. He's doing just fine. His third base isn't too far behind uThermal's. Okay, the worker count's even, and mules give Terran that slight advantage, but even then, like, this is something where I feel like ShoWTimE dedicated so much, he should be in a far worse position. Instead, standing tall with like almost 3 Colossus out, upgrades maybe a little bit later, but his economy intact, this is going to be a tough game for uThermal.
Yeah, it still is. Even after defending against the Oracle technically pretty well, there was still consistent follow-up damage, and I think just a really smart follow-up too by ShoWTimE to not take any further damage, or don't take any damage. I guess ShoWTimE actually, he hasn't taken any damage himself, like in his own bases. Just that it's about what he's thrown at uThermal and it working or not. So ShoWTimE's still looking pretty good. It is, you brought up the upgrade, then it's certainly a point to uThermal. He'll have like this decent bio army, and now he's starting to add in Marauders too. Maybe a concave will just about do ShoWTimE's army in, but I think that was a worthwhile trade for getting like maybe a couple Colossus faster, as well as like just a bit faster than production. I think losing an upgrade or losing double forge is totally worth it for ShoWTimE. This is a bit dangerous, I would say. This is already always a little bit dangerous, but it's gonna work apparently. uThermal just doesn't have his units at home ready to receive this. They got dropped off to the right side that are now being taken care of by the Phoenix, so they can't even get to the natural. And uThermal just was not prepared to deal with this.
I mean, normally 4 medevacs would be such a scary force, but the fact that he's dropping into an overcharge, as well as the depths, as well as these Phoenix, I mean, those medevacs are already pretty injured before the fight even begins. Widowmine's going to try and burrow, picks up one. The other one looking to pop off on the Adepts isn't too bad for damage. We are again, though, facing what is pretty much a base trade in action, just at a much smaller scale than the previous series. If he can kill that Observer, these Widowmines might just win him the game, but oh, the splash damage, that wasn't even like on purpose. Best accident of all time.
Where is the damn mothership core? Is it with the army? No, it's
it was
being
at
pulled
home.
up in the natural.
Yeah,
okay.
it was
I guess
overcharging.
He realized
He kills the
he
pylon
didn't
build of the
have-
Colossus. He depowers
Yeah.
the gateways. He's going to be able to kill the Robo, but can he stop what's at home? SCVs get pulled into the action. If there's enough Marauders alive, maybe, just maybe, takes on the Colossus. But the Warp Prism Micro is good. ShoWTimE keeps the Colossus alive. uThermal's out of units to fight with at home, and he's on these last legs of defense. Meanwhile, though, same problem on the other side of the map. ShoWTimE doesn't have anything here defending. He's relying on this Mothership Core and these Phoenix. He's building cannons. He's drawing a line in the sand, and uThermal, I think, is the one who's going to lose this game.
I think so. I think ShoWTimE giving up his main base was probably like maybe a bit of an overreaction, but then again, if he like just continued to warp in 3 Adepts at a time, losing them every time too.
The stasis
Oh,
trap
that
is so good.
The Phoenixes can now take care of the Medevacs. Yep, there you go.
Oh, you're
Go
right.
for
There's
it.
only like 2 Marines to guard them. They don't live at all. And this $250 first place prize gets awarded to ShoWTimE.
Very nice. Very nice. ShoWTimE just looks so good.
Yeah,
Like,
did he just go through this flawless, by the way? 2-0 into another 2-0 against 2 different matchups?
yeah.
Hot damn. That's actually really impressive for a lot of different reasons, but also because we saw ShoWTimE losing the last time we actually cast him. I remember hyping him up from the Go for StarCraft win, only to have a sad loss on his hands. But that's absolutely fantastic. So ShoWTimE's going to finish first place in the group with $250. Snoot finished last place with $50. But now we get into this final best of 3. It's uThermal into Laser once again. $100 for first place in this match, in this best of 3. $50 for second place. And we'll get to that in a bit. Once more, I want to shout out the Woodwatch site before we do. I really want to emphasize and remind, a lot of you guys don't have like $200 to $300 willy-nilly to drop on a set of watch right now, or on something really nice. But you might in a couple weeks. You might be thinking about Christmas gifts. This deal, this 10% off, extends all the way through up till Christmas. So hopefully you'll remember this tournament. Hopefully you'll look at those watches and think, hey, that's going to be kind of nice. Not to mention, some of you may win that $100 coupon code tomorrow and get one of those watches for, well, pretty damn cheap. We had a couple of resubs, though, while the action was going on. We had Jazoon as a new sub, which was nice to see. Yags for the 10-month resubs. Says, keep up the great work, guys. Here's to another 10 months. Les Jordet for 19 months, as I was promised. Base trades when I signed up. Well, you got them. That's 2 in a row. And now we go to a commercial break. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show so far. We got one final best of 3 coming up, and we'll see you soon.